Hi guys, how you doing with your challenge, your body and life challenge, and whatever we called it, health and life challenge? I hope you're getting it together and figuring out what you want to improve over the next 6 months in your personal lifestyle. And whatever it is, you know, come and share it with us if you want at the meetings on Saturday of the Planetary Healing Club. We're expecting you there whenever you get a chance to show up live. If not, once you get signed up, you can listen to the archives anytime you want. Some people are in different parts of the world where the time zone makes it pretty hard. You know, it's 6 o'clock Saturdays in the evening Pacific, 9 o'clock Eastern, which is not too bad in the US, but in Europe it's really late. So if you can't come to it live, I understand, that's okay. But if you're listening to the archives, then why don't you send an email with anything that you want discussed, or questions or comments, or things that you think are important, or anything like that. Richard@lostartsradio.com. And also, somebody asked me if you can bring children to the club meeting, your kids, and I can't see any reason not to. In fact, I think I'd like to include them as much as possible if they're interested, and you know, have them say hi in the chat that's ongoing during the meeting. It's great. And I want to give kids encouragement about learning things is actually fun. It's not supposed to be boring. And what do they call it? Subject, they call it a discipline, right? That always really bothered me in school. A discipline, that sounds like suppress your normal interests, you know, and what you feel like saying and what you're actually experiencing, and force yourself into a mold. And that's supposedly education, right? But actually it's indoctrination. We're gonna have David Rodriguez on Lost Arts Radio pretty soon on the Sunday show, and probably on a live stream, and he's talking about John Taylor Gatto and the reality of education. Education is fun. If it's real, it's fun for adults and it's fun for kids. It's not what they call a discipline, you know, where you just suppress how you really feel and what you think. And I know I was taught recently in a so-called higher education course that a real scientist has a couple of qualifications in order to be a scientist. And one is, do you know what these are? Maybe you heard them. One is you have to have no opinion, and the other is you have to have no emotion. Okay, then you're on your road to becoming a scientist. And what they mean is that you're on the road to becoming a tool of the power structure to help destroy the world and the biosphere and everything, and yourself in the process, and not even know it because you're so specialized and you have no opinion of your own. You're totally out of touch with how you feel, which is you're supposed to think that's unscientific and subjective and worthless. Because remember, I told you I trust the government. They're always guiding you, and you just have to reverse what they say in most cases. And I also said, check that out to make sure, because sometimes authority figures may tell the truth by mistake or for some other reason, but most of the time you're pretty much on the right track if you just reverse it and translate that way. So when they say your feeling about things is worthless, what they're actually telling you is it's one of the most important things to be in touch with. And when it gets clearer and clearer, it's a guidance for you, and everybody has that. Very valuable. So bring the kids. They haven't cut off, you know, from their own intuition, their inspiration, their sense of internal guidance. And the school system, of course, is working on obliterating those things, but we'd like to encourage them and let them know that there's a lot of exciting stuff to learn. You know, do well with whatever you have to do in school and all your other responsibilities that you may have at home and things like that. But use your time to develop your awareness, learn about keeping your physical body healthy, about what you should eat and drink, and don't be interested in drugs and garbage like that, because they take you away from what you really need to learn. And they're counterfeits of what you can really feel as high energy and enjoyment that comes from being in good shape inside yourself. So yeah, I would love to share anything in the club meetings with your kids if you want to bring them, and then you can have them send in comments and participate in the live chat. And I think it would be great. Kids are being indoctrinated in a really negative way in public schools and some of the private ones too. And places like California, they do nasty things to them in both of those places, or to get into them, I should say. You know what I'm talking about. And some of the stuff that they're teaching kids is really self-destructive. It's confusing intentionally. All this stuff about not really knowing who they are in really basic terms, and get them as far away from understanding themselves as possible, or even feeling what they actually feel, that sort of thing. So we want to get them back to consciousness before the system gets them too far away, and that way their judgment and what to do and how to respond to the interesting world that we live in will be much better. So yeah, bring them if you can. If you're already members, don't worry, they don't need to be members, just have them come along with you if you want. And anybody that's not in yet and you want to be, lostartsradio.com/club, we'd love to see you there. If not, if you don't want to be part of that support group and internal work group on yourself, which is really what that's about, then just keep watching the free videos. I'll share as much as I can with you on that, on all the major platforms that we're still allowed to be on. Also look at Real Video, because they're not going to be kicking people out for telling the truth, which is really great. That's our friend Mike has started that. We've got a good presence there now, and on many other platforms that we're still on, because we're going to be using generic language as much as possible, so you have to pay attention and know what we're talking about. But the basic idea is that your normal state is really high energy and feeling really great, feeling like, moving and running around and not just living on the couch or anything. And the 6-month challenge that we just started is giving you a chance to get clear on what you want to improve in your own life and your own body, and how you feel, your energy level, your health, stuff like that. And take a good look at what you're doing every day in great detail, what you're eating, drinking, your sleep patterns, your exercise, each of the 3 kinds of exercise that you need. See how you're getting those, the sunlight, grounding, and then we'll get into consciousness work in the club. And I'll say what I can about that in the regular videos too. So anyway, I hope you're having a really good week, and for club members, I'll see you Saturday night. Remember the free show also on a little bit before that, 4:30 Pacific, 7:30 Eastern, to review some of the happenings during the week that we can look at and what the implications are. But the real deep work will start right after that in the club. So anyway, thanks for being part of the challenge. Thank you to all of the people that have been sending comments and reports on how they're doing. Don't worry if it's already started. You can start anytime, because we're not going to quit. This is not a temporary, like a crash diet or something. This is an upgrade of your lifestyle. And the first step is becoming aware of what you're doing, what you're not happy with, what you'd like to have better, and then setting up a program to do that. And we'll talk interactive live on the club about anybody that wants to discuss that. And the other thing, some people say in the club, why don't we just talk about physical health, because that's what I thought it was about. Well, I'm happy to do that. I've spent half a century or more than that now, researching that, and I've got some stuff to share with you. But when you take that deeper, you get automatically sliding into areas of consciousness, which in turn affect the physical health benefits that you're getting. So our discussion in the club meetings goes wherever you want it to go. Okay, I'm just there as a resource, and while I'm still around, I want to share with you everything that I've put together with connecting the dots of what's going on in the world, what the power structure is doing, how you can respond to that in a positive way, starting with getting yourself in super good shape so that your mind gets clear, your body's no longer an issue, and then the real work starts. That's what it's about. And you have so much power to contribute to a better world in the future. And even if you don't say a word, there are things you can do in yourself that make you have this massive effect on everybody else. We get into that kind of thing in the club. It's a little safer environment, a little more private for talking about that stuff. You can bring up your own health and life issues that you're dealing with. We'll be glad to address them. Not as a medical doctor, which I'm not, no medical advice, but will go way beyond that. Okay, so anyway, thanks for caring about these things, and I'll look forward to seeing you Saturday.